and welcome back to the channel. And we are at the end. We have reached the final part of this multi-part episode featuring my collection of customized Dinobots. So here we have the Grimlock Brothers, although I don't really call them that. They're the same figure, that's why I call them that, but technically they are the same figure, but as far as names, I gave each one a, this guy over here particularly has a different name. This is still Grimlock. This guy has another name. Yeah, so the figure on the left is the first of the KOs for this mold of the Power of the Primes mold that was released, which was, for those who know and remember, or for those who don't, they were released in multicolor sets, so mimicking like the Power Ranger colors. So the again, I don't remember all of them, right? But this guy Grimlock was red. Swoop, I think, was green, and then Slug was orange. Slag was blue, and Snarl, I forget what color he was, yellow. Anyway, they were multicolored, and then the set in the G1 colors was released, which is the one that I got. So once I got the G1 color set, this guy I had originally tried to paint into the G1 colors, but the paint job didn't turn out so well. So it's a good thing because I had just started painting him, and then this set was released. So I immediately removed the paint on this guy once I got this set, because there wasn't going to be no more need to paint this guy in the G1 colors. So I decided to go in a different direction and make him quote-unquote original character, right? So the head that you see he has right now is the head of the combiner, Volcanicus. But that's the head that goes on the original Power of the Primes figure. So the head is stored here on the back, and when you lift this tab and you lifted this tab, this is where the combiner head was stored. It was on a hinge and a flap attached to the back of the neck. But I used the head for the Volcanicus head that came on this figure for that guy because it was smaller and it fit the Voyager sized scale, even though the combiner was combiner size. So but the Hasbro, take in consideration it's the Hasbro size, right? So the head that came with the original Power of the Primes Grimlock fit perfectly on the oversized KO, which is kind of a leader class. And just for comparison, let's bring in again the Studio Series 86 Grimlock. Let's move this guy out. You can see that size-wise, they're pretty much the same size. Right, so they did a good job upscaling Grimlock. Everybody wished that all the Dinobots were scaled to this size, right? Of course, this guy is taller because he's got feet extensions, so we'll go into that when we look at this guy. So for right now, let's look at the custom version, which I'm calling Volcanicus. So Volcanicus is a complete repaint. Like I said, the figure was all red. I mean, mostly red, right? There were some black parts, but the chest, the arms, the legs, all of that was red. Um, the I'm recording on my phone, so I can't like show a picture for comparison. But yeah, this whole figure was red. So what I did is, I don't know if the camera is picking it up. He kind of looks like black, but he's actually more of a, uh, a dark metallic gunmetal gray. Okay, you can see probably there's probably a more accurate look at the color. He's kind of what I did is um, I mixed gray, silver, black with some purple, right? I mean, not equal parts, right? Different levels of different, ratios to get this color. Um, slight tinge of purple, but yeah, it's mostly just blacks and silvers to make this custom color for this guy. And I think the paint turned out great. I mean, it adhered great to the whole figure. I mean, of course, you can see here there's some rub, right? And you can see there that what I meant, the figure was red. You can see there on the tab, as well on the inside here on where the screw goes, or this when there's a peg right on the other side. But yeah, this guy was in complete. This was the first figure that I did a full 100% complete repaint on the whole body. The thing about this guy is that the wings, now the reason why there's a rub here on the tabs here on the back of his shoulder, the wings are detachable. So I don't have the the pin attached to these guys. And even if I wanted to put the pin back, I don't know where I left it. I'm sure there's a baggie somewhere where I left all of the parts. Actually, it's right here. It might be this one, I don't know. I think it is. Yeah, there's one extra leg that I got as a spare because this one didn't work. So I had to ask for a replacement. But yeah, so I removed the pins, and the wings originally I had them tabbed. You can see this tab right here. I originally had them tabbed to his shoulders like this. Just to give him a different look from Grimlock, right? So he still has the wings, except that they're attached to his shoulder. So there's limited, if you're gonna try and pose them, there's gonna be some limitations to it because of the wings. If I try and pose them, the wing is gonna fall down. But if I keep him in this pose right here, it's perfect, right? So it's just something different, something else. If I get bored from the basic configuration of the figure, I can always do that to switch it up. Also, you'll notice on the front, this part here is actually on the figure, on the original, goes on the back. You can see here the spot where the pin goes. This is on his back. If you remember on the Power of the Primes figure, let me go back. It's this part right here that hangs on the back of his in robot mode, and the back almost like a tail. But on this guy, I flipped it over to the front, right? So now what was on the back is on the what was on the front is now on the back, right? Okay, so and you can see here how I attached the head to the to this piece right here. I had to do some trimming and cutting for the head, for the piece, since I had to remove it with the entire neck piece that was attached to on the Power of the Primes figure, since this is on a swivel, it's not on a ball joint. So there was no other way to attach the head. So that's why I removed the whole thing with the panel with it, and attached it here on the let me see, and I attached it here on the on this figure, on this version. And then let's see. Of course, I added these parts to just to fill them in, fill these gaps there are on the top of the figure. So I use these to fill in the gaps again, just to give them a different look. Because in combined mode, those parts are, I don't even know if they're used in combined mode. They're just exposed. But anyway, I use those are part of the hands that go in for the combiner fists. So this is the combiner fist, right? I remember I showed this part for swoop, that I used it on no, on swoop, on slag. So this is the fist, and these are the parts with the thumbs, right? So these are these right here. And yeah, other than that, again, I gave them so like I said, I gave them these guys came with 3 sets of swords and 3 sets of guns. So for the other 4 Dinobots, I gave two guys guns, I gave 2 guys swords, and on this guy I gave him 1 and 1, right? So on this guy I gave him the black hilt with the transparent red sword, which is different from swoop, who has the silver with the black handle, and I believe Snarl had the other one, which is the transparent red with the red metallic handle, right? So that's how I differentiated these guys with their swords. Of course, now this guy, the issue with the new head is that once you flip over the Dyno head, it's not gonna fit. It's not gonna fit in there. So, so this figure does not transform. You can semi-transform him, but obviously it's not gonna look good. But yeah, no, I don't need this guy to transform. I need him to just look, menacing and and angry. And let's just, check out some of those details that I gave him again. Try and be a little bit different than what I did with the smaller original Power of the Primes Grimlock. So instead of giving him the red accents around here on the shoulders, I just stayed with the silver motif, right? I gave him the silver arms. I believe what I did here is on on some areas I inverted, like instead of going with gold rings and a silver center, like on the Power of the Primes, I did the inverse: silver rings, gold inside parts. On some areas I just went with just silver on the outside, or silver on the inside. This red is from the inside part of the plastic where it connects, so that part I just did it, and it looks different, so I decided to keep it, not to paint it, right? Break up a little bit of the color. And then the fists, I did the same as I did with the Power of the Prime. So the gold knuckles, you could say, and silver plating, and the gold claws in Dyno Mode. Although on the other one, the both parts, the claws and the inside ratchets here were all gold. On this guy I went with the silver. And then on his crotch piece here, I went with the silver, black, and gunmetal colors. Now, on this guy, there goes my dog again. The knees, you can see that he has red knees, red ratchets, right? These are actually the ones that came on this guy. Since the original Power of the Primes figure, if you remember, that I showed you, he had the red knees that I painted with a black Sharpie. So what I did is I switched them, because this guy came with the black knees, so I gave this guy his knees so that they were all black. And I gave these guys the red knees, again, just to make different parts of the figure pop, different accents, right? With the red eyes, the red ports that are sticking out, like this right here, the occasional black spots on the figure, it's just to break up some of that whole gunmetal body color, right? And then down on his feet, you can see more or less subdued as far as the accents go. I just painted the toes and those gold spots there, because again, I wanted to give the impression that this guy just means business. And originally I was thinking of putting him with my Decepticon army, but I decided against that and to keep him as part of the Autobots. So I do need a Autobot sticker for this guy here. So that's it for this guy. My dogs are going off. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, here is Volcanicus. And let's bring in Grimlock, the KO oversized version. So, wait, another quick correction. The weapons that came with Volcanicus, he came with one gun and one sword. On this guy, on the set, which came with 3 guns and 3 swords, I gave Grimlock a gun and a sword. And his sword, as you can see, has the transparent hilt and the silver blade, right? So his is more in line with what I gave the smaller Grimlock. Red hilt and silver blade. And on this guy, I pretty much kind of followed the same look for the original one. Yeah, I didn't deviate too much as far as his look. It's pretty much consistent throughout. I did the same with I was thinking about trying maybe something different, you know, instead of maybe going with the the red on the shoulder parts, right? Maybe try a different color. But you know what? I liked so much how the original came out. Well, I mean the original custom that I made, that I went against it, and I said, well, let's just keep the figure, you know, as is, and just try and improve, you know, with times, you know, since this set came much later than than when I got the original power of the Primes. I'm transforming the smaller one just for comparisons, right? Um, the So I decided, like, the only things I didn't do was like use the black. I'm sorry, not the black. The flat gray paint for some panels that I used on the Hasbro version, and I just went with like oh, you'll see. Um, I just went with the gunmetal color. Uh, there we go. So here's the smaller guy, right? Okay. Now another thing that I was trying, one of the things that I did do differently that was not needed on this guy. So as you can see, he has the plastic. Where is my pointer? There we go. He has the transparent plastic over the gold paint. Actually, the paint is painted from the inside, right, of the plastic. That's why it gets that look that it does. Uh, Trying to mimic the look of the original toys, right? On this guy, he didn't come with that. He was just all of that same gold colored plastic that the other guys were coming in. So what I tried to do is, when I tried to apply clear coats to this guy to give that shininess that the original one had, right? So I applied, no joking, I applied like 20 or so coats of clear coat on the plastic, and you can see how shiny it is. But ultimately, although the idea worked, the gold color of the paint of the plastic just it doesn't lend itself to looking good, you know. So in hindsight, what I should have done is painted the plastic a different gold, you know, something close like this, and then applied the clear coat over it. And then the smoky chest piece again is trying to resemble the original figure, right? The original G1 toy. Let me turn on a light because it's starting to get a little dark here. So this guy, let me look. 1 second. Let me switch up the lights here. There we go. Okay, because I'm shooting all of these videos in sequence, so it's been a couple of hours of shooting, and so the outside light, natural light, is starting to fade. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, with the gold plastic. So yeah, in hindsight, I should have painted the plastic first and then applied the clear coats, right? But again, you know, you live and learn. So if I come across the opportunity to purchase another of these KOs, I can probably rectify that, right? But all in all, again, you know, it's let's remove his accessories and get a closer look at this guy. And I will get to the feet in just a second. So he as far as differences go, again, just for comparison, I probably used, like on the fists, he does use the gold, but instead of using silver, I used like a gunmetal, right, for the plating. On his sides, you can see I pretty much went with the same basic idea, right? Although here I used gold on these parts right here, and here I used silver, right? On his legs, here's where the stickers and the paint difference comes in. So as you can see here, he does not have stickers here on this part of his leg. So on this guy, I did paint these plates like the G1 version. You know, if I bring in the the Studio Series, right? You know how he has those the three colors on the legs. It's the same idea, right? And then on the toes, I went with gunmetal instead of silver, gold. And on the inside, I went with the gunmetal. And then on the hips, I went with the silver instead of just the black. And if we go in the back, so you can see I removed that plate. He had, this is the front part in combined mode, which again is the one that I turned around for Volcanicus. So on this guy, I just removed it completely. My idea is to try and trim this piece out so it stays flat. And then you can see here on the back, I did a more job painting on these details, molded details, versus this version, since it has the stickers on top. Since this had no stickers, there was a lot of more work to be done. Let's just bring the figure closer in so you can get a close-up look here. There you go. And then on this guy, I didn't paint these things that are like thrusters, but I did add accents to these gold accents here that are not on the other figure, on the Power of the Primes, on the original. And then these this plating here, which is covered in sticker on this one, I just painted in gunmetal. And on the back of his legs, you can see that I also painted these panels here to represent the same color as I did these front ones, right? And his tail, this I did paint silver. Same for the dino arms. I didn't paint those on the original. Right. So I also painted the silver detail here on the back of the hips. So as far as the feet go, so you can see that he has some feet extensions there. Those are the original feet that came with this guy. So this guy, like I said, did not come with any weapons. So he came with the combiner feet, right? And So those are the feet that he's got as extensions, just to give him even more height. And what I did to connect them was I used two-part epoxy, and I molded in some pegs. So you can see here, I've done a lot of modifying to the peg over time. This last modification I haven't covered up yet, but I did this cut in order to give him an ankle tilt, so that when he's standing in an A stance, the feet are resting flat instead of at an angle. So instead of you know, before these were straight up like this, right? And now he's able to angle like this, right? So again, I just had to shape the epoxy, let it dry, shape it, sand it down. I used files to shape this, and just put the side that has the flat part facing outwards and slide it in, and there you go. Now he has feet, which is why he is taller than this guy, even though they're the same figure, because of he's got the extensions. Now I didn't give him, he does have the other feet, the actual combiner feet. These are right here, but I thought that they were too big to use for this guy. You know, you're gonna see. I'm gonna show you why I prefer to use these instead of these. So these are the combiner feet that came with the 5-figure set, right? I just have these apart separately. But these are the original feet that came with that guy. So when I transform him in Dyno Mode, you're gonna see how I use these. So let me pause the video, and I'll be right back in Dyno Mode.